Hey everybody, Keylime again, this time with a bounty video. So for folks that aren't familiar with bounties, about once a month I believe there's always a bounty. It's on a Friday. So for bounty days, that's a really nice opportunity to pick up some free stuff, some cool stuff. You get a chance to use some weird teams. They always come out with a new bounty troop. This time around it's actually kind of interesting. So when you jump into bounties, by default, you'll get 4 sigils for your battles. You'll earn 4 more up until the end of the weekend. So there's a lot of rewards you can pick up in this, which is really the main thing with bounties. So initially it may not look all that exciting, but then all of a sudden you start getting vault keys, potentially some diamonds, some gem keys, more diamonds and gems, orbs of chaos. It's a lot of progression that you can make in here, all the way up to 20 different levels where you can get yourself a major orb. Actually 2 major orbs. So it's always really nice to jump in here and get this stuff done. Even if you're just starting out, you can make some pretty decent progress. But the key thing that you want to do when you're going through your fights, you'll see this board here. So every fight you complete will open up the next one, and then you're only getting 10 points for this. However, there are specific troops you can use with the bounty trait. So if you look for this, not sorting by beast, if we just sort for bounty, everyone that has this bounty hunter trait, it's giving you 2 times to 6 times bounty bonus based on their ascension. So if you have all of your people escalated to mythic, you'll get 6x. If they're all just at ultra rare still, you'll get 2x. But that's really going to boost the numbers. So when you're looking at the fights themselves, you'll see that it's saying I'm getting times 18 because I have enough bounty troops in here that would get me 18 times more, which is 3 different mythics, 6 plus 6 plus 6. When you're first starting out at level 10, there's really no reason to be using anything but all bounty troops. So you definitely, is this sorted by, oh my god. You jump in here for all of your bounty troops, and then just pick whichever ones you think are the best. So really there's really no rhyme or reason why you need to be thinking overly hard during this time frame. I usually use a lineup like this. Mermaid has some mana generation, Pharaoh's got some mana generation, Riftlinks has some damage, and this person's entangling. Entangling is very important in bounty events because a lot of the troops end up causing skull falls, so you'll end up just having skulls constantly messing around with your board. So a little bit of damage, true damage, which is nice. But then when you use a team like this will ultimately get you your 24 points bonus. So again, when you're doing your bounties, always make sure that you're using 4 bounty troops. Have them at least with that first trait, so that way you can get the actual bounty score there. So that's always really nice. But then you just run through and you do your fights. So I'm actually going to go through and purchase a couple of these. So these potions, if you're not familiar, all do these little benefits. So if you get this first tier, you're enchanting all of your allies, so that's okay. You also get more sigils, which is cool. The second level is the only one that's really like of note. That's where you're getting a bounty captain, so that's where you get the new troop that comes out. This time around we're getting a guy who does like a deep borer type thing. So he's creating 5 red gems, and then for every brown you destroy, he creates 2 more. So if you catch 1 red, then you'll create 7 total, and if you catch 2, then you'll create 9 total, etc. So as long as you catch 2 gems in it and you're creating 9 red gems, that's actually pretty solid. So this is actually a very nice troop to get. Someone that has mana generation like this is actually very, very cool. Unfortunately, he doesn't really do anything else but mana generation. His traits don't really give him all that much. I actually don't necessarily like this summoning a dust storm when an enemy dies. I don't like to deal with the dust storm with the team that I use at the later levels. But overall, a very nice troop to have. So strongly recommend you at a minimum get the first tier and then you get the second tier. Also, when you're purchasing these tiers, you'll see it's giving you other bounty troops. So if you don't have that many, this is an opportunity to pick up people that all have the bounty hunter trait in them. You get some minor other stuff, but for the most part you're doing it so you can get this new guy. I'm probably going to spend a little more. Do I get the portrait? Let's get the portrait. Why not? That's a stupid thing to do, but let's get it. So now we got a fun portrait. So then for our fights, I'm just going to go ahead and clear that filter, sort by bounty, look at my excavator, get him ascended up to epic apparently, and then I want to get him, Let's just use a major orb for kicks, because I feel like it. Getting him all the way up to level 20. I'm sure a lot of people just cringed at the fact that I just did that, but that's fine. I'm not really trying to save for Zool at this point, and I don't really have much other purpose for that. So now my guy's ready to go. He's all the way up level 20, he's got all of his traits, he's got his bounty hunter, he's mythic, so I'm getting the highest bonus, so we're good to go. He's creating a lot of red. I'm gonna do this. Nope, I'm gonna do this. That makes more sense. Yeah, so this will help my team go. The class that you're using is not going to matter. There's no hero in there. So then you just go in and you do your fights. But now, as you can see, I'm getting my 30 times bonus, which is really nice. So I've got all of my people are mythic. All of them are there. So it's good to go. 6, 6, 6, and 6. So we're all the way up to 30 times. So even after just doing a single fight, we are going to be getting the maximum amount of benefit. You'll see that the levels are very easy to level up initially. They don't expect you, or at least the earlier levels, it's not necessarily something where you need a lot of points to get all the way there. So all you have to do is just win one of these, and then you're going to be in a good spot. I didn't even check to see if there were any browns, but let's just do this. That worked well. So you can kind of see, though, the skull falling thing is happening already, so this is why that Entangled troop that I was talking about is very useful. Since it's this really early level, I don't really care. But then you kill the person, and then you are good to go. You get 300 bounty points, so just using a team of all those people, I'm all the way up to reward level 5, so I got a vault key just for doing one fight. So using that team of all of your bounty hunter troops is really the way to go. One thing you definitely want to be aware of is that whenever you're up against a Raven, they obviously want yellow mana, so make sure that if there is yellow mana on the board, you're being very considerate to make sure that they don't get it. You definitely do not want them getting that. That's not a good time for anybody. Fortunately enough, I can just kill them this time around, but as you're playing your bounties, do make sure that you're looking at the board, looking at the Raven, and making sure that they're not getting the mana that they're actually needing. That's no fun. We want to get all of the sigils that we possibly can. The less that we need to actually do, the least amount of sigils that we can waste, that means we're just spending that much more time actually getting points. So do make sure that when you're doing your fights, if you see a Raven there, pay extra attention to the yellow mana that's on the board, and prioritize either stealing that yellow mana or making sure you kill the Raven before they get full. No worse feeling than watching a Raven run away. So every time you're doing a bounty, always look out for them. Those Ravens, extremely beneficial to kill them. Gives you 2 more chances to do bounty fights. So definitely something else to keep in mind. Something else I just wanted to point out real quick. As I mentioned before, there's always skull falls going on when you're facing other people in bounty events. Take special note though, this fight specifically has 0 attack here. So spend your time picking out the people underneath this person and just let the skulls stay there. No matter what they do, this guy's not going to do skull damage to you. So definitely a nice strategy to keep in mind if you're getting to this level, or there's other levels in the future where there's a dwarven fortress up top. Don't worry about skulls, just focus on doing your damage some other way. It's to your benefit to keep this guy alive as long as possible. So at this point I'm up to level 10. I've been using nothing but the full bounty team that I was talking about. Fights are starting to get a little dicey. Traditionally I find around like 10 to 12 is when things start to get a little funny. You start to lose a troop every now and then. So when your fights start to get more complicated, this is about the pivot point when you would want to decide, do I want to switch to having just one non-bounty troop in my lineup or not? For me, it's around this time frame. I'm sure I could go further if I really wanted to, but for me, it's risking a sigil to try and just sneak out a few more points. For me, it's not worth it. I would much rather just safely win these fights moving forward. So always consider when that point is for you. I think I'm probably going to go another 1 or 2, but if I start to lose a fight or almost lose a fight, that's going to be when you want to switch in somebody that's going to add a lot more value. At that point in time, you can put in literally anything you want, but I'll show you what I prefer to use once I get to that next point. So right around this level is where I've started to run into a little bit of trouble. I've lost a troop every now and then in these last couple fights. Still winning pretty decently, but I think I'm at the point now where I want to actually change which team I use. So generally what I end up going with in this situation is actually putting in Yao, if you happen to have him. He synergizes extremely nicely with these other folks. Actually, Excavator makes this even better since he's turning browns into reds, or at least destroying browns and creating reds. So between these two troops, I'll be able to create a bunch of red mana just for Yao. Mermaid's really just there to help jumble up the board a little bit. However, I think what I'm going to actually do is put my druid friend in there instead, since he's not mana blocking too badly. I'll put him down there. Don't really want that. It's a little more survivable than him. I just realized that bone storms are happening because of my own guy. That's fun. But yeah, I think this is the lineup that you'd want to use. Because of this, again, you're using Yao to pretty much just kill everybody, so just keep spamming the board with like mana as much as you can, and then Yao is somebody here that's just going to do tons of damage, and then he'll be the cleanup troop. So this is a lineup that I definitely think would be really strong. Again, since there's only one troop that's in there that's not a bounty troop, you're still getting a 24x bonus. Just from the amount that I've done so far up to this point, the first 13 levels, we've already gotten all the way up to reward 13, so that's really, really nice. But now I'm just going to be using this team right here to get all the way through. So here we've successfully made it all the way up to level 20 using that team that I showed you before. Again, since we're using Pharaoh, who's get that Bone Storm, whenever an enemy dies, we're using Ursaka Druid to get us some entangles, prevent that a little bit, lots of red mana generation. So this is what a level 20 fight would look like using this specific team. Pretty much for any bounty, this is like the general two that I was put together. I'd always pair Pharaoh with Yao. As long as you have those two, it's really just a matter of getting the mana from there. So again, this is what a level 20 fight would look like with this team. So generally trying to focus on mana generation. I see I have a Raven there. Since we've got the new Excavator troop, we can try and get some more red on the board here. So let's see if we can find... Yeah, I like this one better. We didn't get a loop there, but now it's our turn. We have a nice Yao match here, so immediately whenever there's a Yao match we use him. And then even though I see that there's more... you know what, I'll take it. It's early enough. But now really what we're trying to do is just use Pharaoh to set up Yao matches, and since he creates purple and red, pretty much every time you cast him, you're definitely going to create like a nice big bucket there. And Yao being such a nice little damage troop that he is, you're generally not going to have that much trouble burning down people. Even though I see 4 matches in here, I'm going to use Pharaoh because I want to keep as much red on the board as I can, so I keep it my turn. So we're going to cast. Unfortunately, we don't get anything fun. And we're dealing with the consequences of our actions here, but we're going to keep on going. Probably losing our Pharaoh here. We get very lucky. The AI decides we deserve to live, and then they say we deserve to die. And then we've got a nice Yao cast, so we got our bird down. Now we'll just entangle this guy just to stop him from doing anything fun to us. Might as well catch that red. Hit him with Yao, and all we need to do is just take him down from there. So that was a messier fight than normally happens, but again, that was a level 20 fight, so it'll never get any harder than that. We were able to get our bird, we were able to kill them all. I wasn't really all that concerned. Yao's damage output is high enough that you can always punch through. So with just that team, you'll be able to farm this level 20 all the way through. So that was my 1 to 20 run, and just with the teams that I showed you, I got all the way up to reward 15, so I'm sitting on... what? An Orb of Chaos, an Orb of Chaos. Let's just collect it, why not? Got a Vault Key, 17 Gem Keys, a bunch of diamonds, 3 orbs, and a fun little portrait. So you too can run through this. Again, I strongly recommend that. Oh god, what a way to end. 3 orbs of growth. Well, there you go. But yeah, from there, that's how you just do your bounties. So now you just keep doing this level 20, and you reap your rewards. Feel free to go as deep as you'd want. Obviously, things get a lot more exciting towards the end there. I'm personally going to get this all the way up to 20, just so that way I can get those 2 major orbs, and another Orb of Chaos, and another Vault Key. I like getting fun stuff. But yeah, that covers how you handle bounties. So hopefully that helps, and good luck to you as you make your way through. See you guys later.